Pauline Hanson's greatest political strength is her authenticity. She speaks about issues that relate to the life that she's led. She doesn't come across as your cookie-cutter major party politician. She doesn't speak like a consultant or like she's delivering sanitised talking points the way others do. Hanson sounds and acts like someone who ran a small business, raised kids, and took life's knocks. This authenticity is why voters listen when she talks about issues such as immigration, housing, and of course, the cost of living crisis as well. The One Nation leader offers blunt answers to people who feel that mainstream politics has simply become an elaborate exercise in ignoring the opinions of the masses. And frankly, she has a point. But the same life story that empowers Hanson also creates significant risk for her when the topic turns to women, work, and families. During her highly disciplined National Press Club speech, Hanson pitched One Nation's core issues exactly as you might expect. Paid parental leave wasn't in the speech, but it did come up in the Q&A, and Pauline Hanson gave some forthright opinions that just might rub some voters who would otherwise be tempted to vote for One Nation the wrong way. Asked about state-enforced paid parental leave, Hanson's small business Reflex took over.
If you're male or female, you do get the same pay. That's all smoke and mirrors what they're telling you. If you're an airline pilot, male, female, you get the same pay. You're hostess, same pay. You do the work, you're same pay. The difference is that if women take time off and they are not paid their wages because they're not working, fair enough. Why should business pay them if they're not at work? That's the difference. That's why the pay gap is there.
Now, this wasn't a crafted line. It was an instinct rooted in her fish and chip shop ethos of hard work, self-reliance, and suspicion of big government mandated generosity delivered at someone else's expense through the tax system. For small business owners drowning in compliance and costs, this wasn't a gaffe, it was a signal. Hanson was telling them that she still understands their struggle, and it was off the top of her head in the Q&A, don't forget. In her written speech, she deliberately drew a contrast between her background in small business and Albo's complete lack of any such experience. A really interesting point.
The difference between Albanese, Chalmers and me is that I actually ran a small business. They have earned their income by working for government, taking their salary from the taxpayer.
Pauline Hanson speaks to an exposed class of sole traders, tradies, franchisees, farmers, and shopkeepers, frankly, who view every new entitlement that government pays for as just another invoice in the mail that puts up their taxes. But there is also a danger in such messaging for her, and one that the Albanese government is paying very close attention to as it tries to plan how to take on Pauline Hanson and One Nation as it surges. Modern families don't live in Hanson's pre-1996 fish shop economy. Two incomes are no longer a lifestyle choice. They're often the only way that families can survive crushing mortgages, savage rents, grocery bills, insurance premiums, and of course childcare costs as well. For single parents, the difficulties are all the greater. Now, paid parental leave isn't some indulgent HR perk, let's be realistic here. For many families, it's the difference between having a child and pure financial panic. By questioning it, Labor would note that Hanson risks sounding a little less like a small business realist and a lot more like she's generationally out of touch. I did it the hard way, so why shouldn't you? That's how some voters might hear what Pauline Hanson's comments are all about. Labor might see Hanson's rhetorical flourish as a real political opening. It's already hunting for votes amongst professional women, we know that, and out of suburban two-income families as well, knowing that the Liberal Party has spent years grappling with its women problem, made all the worse, of course, by low levels of female representation amongst its MPs. Not to mention, in the wake of rolling its first female leader, Susan Lee, after less than a year as the opposition leader. Now, Hanson, of course, isn't just another bloke from the Conservative Boys Club, as Angus Taylor can be seen to be. She is a female political leader, a single mother, a former small business owner and a well-worn political survivor. Nonetheless, her politics isn't built on solidarity with female voters. She doesn't use gender to prism her approach to politics. For example, Hanson has long been comfortable speaking to the frustrations of separated fathers, men who believe the system in the family courts is stacked against them, and that child support is unfair and the whole family court system has become a hostile terrain towards men. Now, there are votes there, to be sure. Many divorced and separated men feel unheard by the mainstream politicians. But put that alongside her paid parental leave comments, childcare instincts, and small government worldview, and there is a pattern that is emerging about Pauline Hanson. She may be a woman leading an emerging minor party that certainly is threatening the majors, but many of her social policy instincts align more naturally with aggrieved men, small business owners, and older voters than with the younger working women who are a huge cohort in the electorate. Now, this isn't necessarily fatal, but it is a sizable part of the electorate that she risks alienating and turning off her politics. Now, that said, One Nation isn't trying to win teal seats in the affluent inner suburbs of major cities where a lot of professional women live. Hanson's voters are in those outer suburbs and in regional towns where the premise of modern Australia has been starting to look like a pretty sick joke. For these voters, Hanson's suspicion of state-funded entitlements might well sound like common sense, especially when paired with her attacks on immigration, debt, and of course energy costs as well. But Hanson really should tread carefully here, because paid parental leave isn't easy to just dismiss as welfare largesse the same way that the old age pension isn't either. It sits at the intersection of work, family, fertility, and workforce participation. It appeals not just to progressive women, but to ordinary families too, who don't have the luxury of ideological purity.
Does that mean you support getting rid of paid maternity leave for working mums?
No, it's not. So there's no way, shape or form that I am actually saying to get rid of it.
The sharpest attack isn't that Hanson is a woman hater, which is plainly ridiculous. It's that she's campaigning for what you might call a nostalgic grievance and advocating for a policy manual for a society that simply no longer exists. Hanson is rising because millions of Australians privately agree with her on a host of issues now. But success brings much closer scrutiny. The Press Club speech showed more discipline than Pauline Hanson's critics might have expected of her. And most of the attempts to unpick her approach by what I'd call the callow press gallery journalists lining up for their moment in the sun during the Q&A probably did more to help Hanson's cause than hurt it. The Get Up protest banner that was unveiled certainly did that. But there were some landmines among the questions that were asked, and paid parental leave is absolutely one of them. If One Nation wants to become a durable political force rather than just a protest vehicle, Hanson can't afford to sound indifferent to the pressures facing modern working women and younger families.